Good afternoon and welcome back to Yogi Cycle Service. I'm changing it up a little bit today. Why? Because wrenching videos in the garage after a while just gets boring, right? So I'm changing it up a little bit today. And today I want to talk a little bit. I've been riding street bikes since I was about 19, so about 28 years now. And so I got a minute or two of experience on that. And I just want to talk briefly, just have a discussion about the difference between riding bar to bar versus, side by side versus a staggered position. Really for the first 20 years that I rode, whenever I rode with friends, it was always in a staggered position because that's just what I thought you were supposed to do. And it wasn't until probably the past 6 years or so that I learned a different riding style, and that's riding bar to bar. So I just kind of want to talk today maybe about advantages or disadvantages of each riding style. And really the riding style, riding bar to bar or riding staggered, really depends upon the group of people that I ride with. So when thinking about this, I'm going to refer to it as pack riding. And pack riding to me is, for this purpose of this discussion, is whenever there's more than one bike. All right, so if two or more, it's a pack. All right, let's just use that to make it easy. So if it's you and a buddy out there, two of you together, you're a pack. So there are four different things I want to talk about. One is visibility. Two, objects in road and safety. Three, communication. And four, enjoyment. So let's start off with visibility. Things I have noticed when riding in a pack. If you are in a staggered position and there is a car coming to an intersection this way and they look left to see what's coming, when, let's pretend it's two motorcycles. It doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't really matter. I think it does matter when you have a motorcycle with one headlight, maybe like a sport bike or a Sportster, versus for instance, a bagger, which will have the two passing lamps and the one headlight in the middle. That naturally lets that driver of that car see a bigger object coming, right? But if you have two bikes that are staggered, one's in the front and one's maybe about a car length behind him in the other side of the lane, versus two bikes that are side by side. When they're side by side and bar to bar, visibility wise to oncoming traffic or traffic coming out at a perpendicular, I would think that a bar to bar riding style visibility, you're more able to be visible versus a staggered position. So I have noticed that it seems to me that riding in a bar to bar style, you're more visible than you would be staggered. Also, when it comes to visibility, riding bar to bar, you can get your pack tighter if you're not in a staggered position, because you can have two bikes in the front, car length or shorter, two bikes behind them, car length or shorter, two bikes behind them. So you can get your pack tighter when you're riding bar to bar versus staggered, where you're spread out a whole lot longer. And that may not be as noticeable when you're in a 2 to 4 bike situation, but when you get up 10, 15, 20, 30 bikes, a pack of 30 bikes riding bar to bar is a much tighter pack than a pack of 30 bikes riding staggered. So visibility, I think you're a little bit easier to be seen when you're in a bar to bar situation versus stagger. Well, let's talk about objects in the road. Objects in the road. When you're riding bar to bar, you're here and your buddy's right next to you, kind of like being in the passenger seat of this car. He's right next to you. Now, something coming up in the road towards you, that doesn't give you a whole lot of room to move on either side to avoid the object in the road or the pothole or, the dog that runs out in front of you. So in that respect, when you're riding staggered, you have pretty much the whole, from what we joke, from the mustard in the middle of the road, the mustard, to the mayonnaise, the white line on the right hand side of the road. So from the mustard to the mayonnaise, you got the whole distance to go this way, because your fellow rider in a staggered position is behind you to avoid objects in the road. So in that respect, I think a staggered position for objects in the road is a safer riding tactic. When you're riding 2 up, there's a whole lot less room for you to maneuver around objects in the road. And, if you're the guy on the left riding by the mustard, and there's a dead animal or a piece of rubber from a truck tire or a piece of trash that fell off a vehicle, you're either coming over close to your buddy, or you're riding on the yellow line, the mustard line, or you're even going into the lane of oncoming traffic. So in that respect, it can be dangerous. Do have one story to tell when it comes to that. There was a pack of, I think, 8 of us that were riding out by the coast. We were on a 2-lane road. It was a straight 2-lane road. We had just left a traffic light and we were going. We had accelerated. We got up to about 50, 55 miles an hour. I think it was a 45-mile speed zone. And there are 3 or 4 vehicles coming towards us. The second vehicle in the group was a pickup truck, and the third vehicle was a pickup truck. Well, the second vehicle in the group had this barrel in the back of his truck. It was a plastic, like poly, looked like a 55-gallon drum, but it was bigger than that. It must have been like an 80 or an 85-gallon plastic drum, because it was longer than a 55-gallon barrel. And I don't know what the heck he was doing, but that barrel caught wind. And when it caught wind, and I guess I don't know if it moved around the bed of his truck, I don't know, but it ejected. And when it ejected, it went 30 feet in the air, and it was going like this. And all of us in the pack were like, uh-oh, as we're looking up at this barrel. And we're doing 50, 55 miles an hour. And suddenly, all of us at the exact same time locked it up. I was on the Ultra, so it has ABS, so it didn't lock. But the guy in front of me, because there were 2 guys in front of me, and then it was my row, and then 2 rows behind us, and I was on the mustard side of the line, and another buddy was on the right-hand side. We all locked at the exact same time. And that barrel was flipping in the air. And when we came to a stop, and let me tell you, it was one of those pucker moments, because the guy in front of me was locked up and didn't have ABS. The guy behind me evidently didn't have ABS either, because he was locked up also. But miraculously, I was braced for impact, because I thought for sure he was going to hit me. Thought for sure the guy behind me was going to hit me. I thought for sure I was going to hit the guy in front of me. Not one person hit the other bike anywhere in our pack at all. We came to a dead stop. The barrel, boom, hit the ground right about 15 feet in front of the bike that was in front of me, and then rolled towards us. And then because it's round, it like rolled around and went back over into the oncoming traffic lane. But those cars had seen it too, so they stopped also. But the driver of the pickup truck who had the barrel, he didn't even notice, kept on going. But that would have been a time where riding bar to bar could have been very dangerous, because luckily we've all ridden together for a while and all familiar with how we ride together in a pack. And thank the Lord, everybody in that pack acted together as one unit. And we all stopped together as one unit, and not one bike hit another bike, not one bike darted off when in incoming traffic, not one darted off, went off the side of the road. But that could have been potentially catastrophic. Now, how would that have been different riding staggered? Well, riding staggered, as we said before, you're spaced out a little bit more. I would have had the whole lane to move over like this. You're a longer pack, so the guys in the back probably wouldn't have had to stop aggressively. Thankfully it turned out fine, but it probably would have been easier to stop a pack in a staggered formation than in a bar-to-bar formation. But thankfully that was okay. But instances like that, riding bar-to-bar can be dangerous. There's a big chunk, those, I call them road alligators, those black tires, chunks of 18-wheeler tire in the middle of the road. You're following tight behind some cars in front of you, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is, and you have no time to react. And if you do, you're either moving over into your buddy, or you're moving into oncoming traffic, and it can be catastrophic also. So that is a negative in my mind to bar. Another positive would be communication. When that guy's right next to you, it's really easy to look over, maybe hit your throttle once and, throw some hand signals. Hey, I need some gas. Hey, I want to eat. Hey, I want to brake, or whatever. It's a whole lot easier to communicate with the guy next to you when he's next to you than when he's, a car length behind you. Yeah, you can throw signals in the air, but it's night and day difference when the guy's next to you for communication than when he's behind you. Now I know, with the Cena units, you can talk to each other. Hey man, I gotta hit the bathroom. Can we stop and go to the bathroom? Sure, that's fine. That works. Works great, especially in a staggered position. But when that guy's right next to you, it's a whole lot easier to communicate. Another thing that we do to help communicate when we're coming up to turns. Yes, I know it's traditional, left-hand turn, right-hand turn, so everybody in the pack behind you can see it. But another thing that we do is one hit of the throttle, we're going left. 2 hits of the throttle, we're going right. And we talk a lot with the throttle. Well, when somebody's riding next to you and they got 8 hangers like I do on the Fat Boy, my arm blocks me from seeing his hand signals. So we use the throttle to talk to each other. 1 hit for left, 2 hits for right. If you're daydreaming, it kind of wakes you up a little bit, and you look over, and not only do we hit the throttle, but we also give the signal, the hand signal also. So if you miss the throttle, that's your cue to pay attention. A hand signal's coming. So 2 hits, right hand turn. 2 hits, left hand turn, or whatever your particular hand signal is. And lastly comes enjoyment. Man, it's just a whole lot more fun to me riding bar to bar than it is all those years that I rode staggered with friends. Yes, I love the riding staggereds with friends, but you're a lot more sloppy, I find, when you're riding in a staggered position than you are in a 2-up. In a 2-up, it makes you pay attention. You probably get less scenery view riding 2-up than you do, or riding bar to bar than you do in a staggered position. A staggered position, since you have the whole lane to kind of work with, yeah, you try to stay in the left, you try to stay in the right, but you can look around. Hey, look at that beautiful view of the river as we cross this bridge, or hey, look at that beautiful building over there. When you're riding with somebody right next to you, you gotta pay a whole lot more attention, because you don't want, hey, look at that beautiful bam. Oops, sorry. See, I find you got to pay a whole lot more attention when you're riding bar to bar, so it requires more of a focus. But that focus kind of prevents me from daydreaming, which can be safer, in my opinion, because when a car is coming up to an intersection, I'm paying attention to them because I see danger coming. Or, when traffic's coming down the road, I pay more attention because I'm more alert when there's somebody right slap up next to me riding bar to bar. When we're done for riding for the day and we're splitting off, I'm putting it in cruise, I'm reaching over and I'm fist bumping the guy that's next to me. Later, man. And I'm peeling off. There's the communication, the enjoyment factor. Man, I like this guy I'm riding with. I enjoy riding with him. I want him next to me, not a car length behind me where I can't talk, I can't communicate, I can't see how he's doing. I can't, when you look over and you see that smile on the person who's riding next to you's face, that's awesome. They're having a good time. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying this ride. They're enjoying this ride. And bar to bar for me, I've done it now for the past 6+ years, and I must say I really do enjoy it. But it does come with its fair share of dangers, certainly objects in the road, and Lord forbid a car does pull out in front of you. We've lost a few friends here lately where somebody made a left-hand turn in front of you, and now instead of taking out 1, it's taking out 2 because you're bar to bar. And that's the difference between being bar to bar and stagger. That's one of them. When something bad happens, it usually involves more than one person. We're in a staggered position. Maybe that guy behind you just has a split second more to react and can do something to avoid an accident. So things to consider, things to think about. But I wanted to change this up today a little bit. So, all these wrench videos are awesome, and I love them, and I'm going to keep doing them. But we got to throw some other stuff in there and kind of spice it up a little bit and have an enjoyment. So, I want to do some product reviews. That's going to be coming up here soon. And more discussion things like this. So we can discuss and maybe give me some ideas for some feedback on some topics you'd like me to cover. And as I'm out and about going on my appointments and I got a few minutes in between appointments, I can make a video. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for joining me on Yogi's Cycle Service today. Please share, subscribe, like, tell all your friends about it, and give me some feedback and give me some ideas and more videos I can help bring to you. I thank you. Hope you have a great day, and thank you for joining Yogi Cycle Service. Peace.